Welcome to another Let's Talk Jonesboro. Today our guests are from Arkansas State University Child Development and Research Center. We have with us Angie Sheffer, who's the director of the ASU Center. We have Lori Pollard, who's a program director, over 13 sites. We have Tanya Hoddle, who is the Family Services Director. So, now, you guys all happen to work at the Jonesboro Center, but how many do we have? We have 13. Where are they?
We have 13 centers throughout the Delta. We have them from Bay to Wind, Hughes, Parkin. We have 3 in West Memphis. We have some in Phillips County and Helena too.
Okay, and what's your purpose?
Our purpose is to serve children who have a need to be in a preschool setting and their parents can't afford to put them in quality care.
Okay, so this is something that's provided by the university?
This is something that's provided through state and federal grants.
Now, we have a lot of kids at the center at Arkansas State University, and I've been honored with the mayor to come out and meet some of the kids, and they're always fun. You know, we had a lima bean planting thing this week, and one young man was a little dubious that this was going to work, and he said, "How is this bean going to grow into a llama?" And I said, "No, lima, not llama." But he had a great question, so the understanding. But so this week, and you guys have your shirts on, this is Deeper Learning Week, and it's Arkansas Children's Week. Tell me what that means and what you have done with the kids all week. And Tanya, I know you had your elbows up in the mud today, so you should answer this.
Okay. As Mr. Campbell stated, the mayor and Mayor Perrin and Mr. Campbell kicked off our week. Also, Senator Cooper, and we had Representative Ladyman, Representative Tosh. We've had Representative Gazaway, also the police chief, Rick Elliott. We've also had parents involved. We have had engineers. We've had the ASU Art Department with Dr. Susan Whiteland leading it. Our focus this year was STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Math. We've also incorporated STEM, which is Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. And it's just been an exciting week. Our students have loved it, and our guests have made it a great learning situation for all the children.
That's good. And now, Angie, what age group do you serve? I mean, there's some really young kids in here, right?
Yes, we have 200 children in our center, ages 6 weeks all the way up to 5 years old. We've had visits from the chancellor this week as well. They have thoroughly enjoyed all of the visitors. They love having the interaction with different adults, and we just serve a wide variety of ages and serve them well.
What are the qualifications? How do I know if I can send my child to your center?
Well, at the research center, at the Development Research Center on campus, it is need-based for the grant-funded slots. However, we have for-pay also. So we have everyone from the doctors on campus to members of the community who are welcome to come and be a part of our center. We do have a lengthy waiting list, but we don't discourage anyone from getting on it. And we do keep track of that and call them as soon as a slot is available.
And Lori, what are the charges?
If you're for pay, it's $100 a week, $30 extra a week if you want aftercare. If you are after one of the federally or state-funded slots, it's free during the day, and then just the $30 charge for aftercare.
You know, the cool thing that I saw, that I see when I come out to see you guys, is the comfort that most of the kids seem to have. And I know there's always someone who's shy or whatever, but you work hard you work hard to make sure no one's left out. It's what it appears to me.
We're a family. most definitely. From the teachers to the students, we're their school family, and we use a program specifically designed to teach them that. It also teaches them self-regulation skills that are going to help them be more successful in their later learning. We just, like you said, we try very hard to make them feel like we're just a second home.
Okay, you train them and they're well behaved. As a former parent of young kids and as a potential grandparent of young kids, how you do this? I don't believe it. I've seen far too many. Take me to a restaurant, I'll show you a poorly behaved child. How do you, what's the secret?
We use conscious discipline curriculum, and we have our teachers and their assistants, it's their calling. They love what they do, and that shows in how they interact and how they care for the children at our center.
I didn't hear whack on the tush on that at any level.
There will be no whacking ever at
No.
any of our sites.
No.
We do spare the rod,
Those
but our
days
children are
gone,
not
aren't they?
spoiled.
And yet they're
Absolutely.
not spoiled, and that's a beautiful thing, because everybody seems to be. I guess it can get hectic. You have 200 children in one spot.
Absolutely. It is a hectic day, but we have lots of help. We have volunteers sometimes that are on campus. We have lots of departments from ASU that collaborate with us that do projects with our children. And then we also have college students that are employed at our center who provide aftercare for our children as well.
That's pretty cool, because you do with the university. You have a lot of resources, but they have to know how to work with the kids when they come in too. So they have to be trained. What I mean, at some level, what departments do you largely get students from?
Well, the college students that she's referring to that are employed by ASU come from all different departments. However, we've had more than one change their major to education after they've started working for us.
Yes.
Because they enjoy it.
Because
See,
they do.
Absolutely.
They get
They
into
do.
the classroom and they start working with the kids and they realize, hey, this is not like work at all. This is like you get to come and play all day. I think I want this for my career. So
That's funny.
we don't
That's
tell them the
funny.
downside about how little we're paid. We don't want to discourage them.
It's a passion.
You go into education definitely from the heart,
Yeah.
not to fill your pockets. But they're, I don't know what we would do without them. They're an integral part of our community, of our school family. But like you said, working on ASU campus, that center in particular gets a lot of different departments collaborating with them. We've had the speech and hearing department come out and do developmental tests on the children. We've partnered with the psychology department, and we have different therapies going on. We have a play therapy program right now. We partnered with the HIPIS department. They're doing a research study on the effects of poverty and your health, which is fascinating. I can't wait to see the results of that. So it's an environmentally rich setting for a pre-K center.
That I assume there are advantages too, and maybe disadvantages to having kids that come out of tough home life in with kids from more stable home lives. How do you negotiate that situation?
Well, our family service managers are a valuable resource in working with those families and getting them plugged into the resources in the community that are there for their support as well. And that's one of the most important things that Ms. Tanya does.
Well, Tanya, do you also work with parents? Do you deal with a lot with parents?
Yes, I do. We try to promote parent involvement. We have monthly meetings. We, as Ms. Lori stated, we help with scheduling developmental screenings for hearing, vision, and dental for all our students, so we can identify their problems early if there are any. We help transition them from pre-K to kindergarten. Also, we partnership with different agencies in the community to help us with these services to assist our families in anything from food, shelter, clothing, transportation, or even maybe employment.
Do you find that parents are active or willing to take part in this, in a general rule?
Yes, they are. Maybe the first meeting or two, we may have a scarce attendance, but as the year goes on, they realize that it's fun and they're being, making that connection with us, with the school, and with their child.
So the stereotype of the careless parent is maybe exaggerated. Has that been an experience for you guys? The parents that simply drop their kids off and want you to raise them. Is that exaggerated, or is that a true problem we have?
If that happens, I think it's more they're scared. They don't know where to go for help. And I think that's why programs like ours is so important, because we have people on staff like Tanya and our other family service manager who are there to provide that safety net for them. And like Tanya said, after they realize that, they get comfortable and they start coming around more and they start taking a more active role in their child's life.
And when you say scared, I'm thinking you mean not necessarily scared of the child, because they're not little like we see in some of these horror movies, where the
Scared
kids
of making a mistake.
scared of making a mistake and scared of a
lot
lot
of
of facters going on in their lives.
Right. Well, a lot of our parents, and I wish Janice Carter, who works for A-State, was able to be here today, but there was a huge study done. It's called the ACEs test, and it's indicators of whether a child's going to be successful in life and healthy in life. And Arkansas has one of the lowest statewide ACEs scores around. And so our program specifically targets the areas on the ACEs tests and helps those children and their families overcome the obstacles that they've had in their life.
One thing I noticed about the ACEs test is that the Craighead County does not necessarily rate as well as I would have thought. I mean, the counties around us are just not significantly, but marginally better, and we're not the worst in the state, but we're not leading in a ways that we are leading in other ways that we measure a city's success. So we do have a problem with, and the ACEs test, you guys explain better than I can, but it basically asks a dozen questions or so that say, if you experienced this in childhood,
And they're
you have
traumatic events.
a traumatic event, okay? And the traumatic event can be everything from an abusive parent or a family member to
Lack of food.
food needs and a lot of other things. So tell me, how many children, how often is this, do you encounter this, and what type, how does it play out? What does it look like?
It's going to be a child who will act out in their behavior. They're not able to self-regulate their emotions. They may have a meltdown. They may shut down. They may be extremely aggressive. They may be, the total opposite of that as well. It depends on what their age is and how it's going to manifest, but it will come out in some form or fashion.
But you guys have seen it enough, or that you can recognize that it's something more than just what's happening in the immediate moment.
It's an epidemic.
Yes.
It's an epidemic, and we need to take notice, and we need to put money and effort into changing it.
Are these messages, Tanya, that you guys are giving the representatives and the elected officials that came to celebrate Arkansas Children's Week?
Yes, sir. Those are things that we had addressed with these legislators, and appreciate their donating their time and sharing their expertise with our children. We have, all we can do is work with what we have.
One thing that people need to know is that throughout the state, we've been flat funded for 10 years. That means no money for, the teachers' salaries, no more money for more slots for more children. And it's a shame that we don't put the emphasis on that we need to.
It's amazing that you keep things as nice and well organized under those circumstances.
And we have to thank Miss Joanne Nally for that. She's
Well-
the Director of Childhood Services, and she makes sure of it, even if she has to pull money out of nowhere.
Well, okay, you said your enrollment is diverse. Tell us how you choose your students.
Well, we're open to the public, and a lot of people don't know that. So anyone can come and fill out an application. And we do have people from the community, but when they find us, they always say, "Oh, we thought you were just for the A-State employees and students."
Right. Well, it's because you're right there on campus.
That's true,
But
but
you've got
because-
far too many children
Right.
to be just ASU.
Because we're federally and state funded, that makes it open to the public.
So how do they get an application?
They can call our center at 972-3900, and we can email them one, and they can email it back to us, or they can drop by the center anytime between 7:45 and 5:30, and someone will be there to give them one.
If they wonder how they qualify, what is the first thing they need to think about?
If you're trying to qualify for one of our federally or state funded slots, it's income based, and when you call, you can ask about that scale.
Families, does it matter how many kids you have?
It does not, and we have families from all over the country. We have 22 different races, I think, and about that many different languages spoken there. We have a little toddler who's not bi but trilingual. She speaks
goodness.
Spanish, German, and English. And through immersion, her English is getting really good, but she's also teaching the other children German and Spanish as well. So now a lot of the times they'll ask for leche instead of milk at the table because of her.
I love it. I love it. It's fabulous. Well, ladies, thank you for taking the time to visit with us on Let's Talk Jonesboro.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for having us.